Welcome to the Ice Turner experience. It's something you can't define, but you can only experience this through me. And as of lately, I've been, able to not only, reposition myself, physically, but also mentally and spiritually. It's a difference between, being under the concept of change versus the awareness. And one thing I do notice is that the people, outside of yourself are actually in the awareness of your change. And you notice that based on how sensitive they become, towards your behavior and conduct. It's like that whole crab in a barrel, theory. People will actually, sacrifice a little bit that they have, and go down as long as they bring you down with them. It's interesting, how life, unfolds. But what really caused me to be in the awareness of my change and my evolution was from a trade that I made. I actually had earned, 10K in 2 minutes. So, just to simplify it, life is not about, people think that racism, is, predominant, in certain aspects, racism, race relations, to a certain degree, but it's more so about classism. And classism is about stereotypical behavior. And behavior is not so much just how you conduct yourself in society, but how you conduct yourself with the time that you're given. We all have 24 hours in a day. It's all about what you do within those 24 hours. That's, imperative. The whole concept of the matrix, what, it's been popularly quoted, it's based on the behavior. Behavior will keep you in the matrix, as well as, certain behavior will bring you out of the matrix. Because, the matrix is essentially it's a system, with people that have socially engineered, behavior to keep them, enslaved, You're basically socially conditioned by what people, or what I would say the dominant influence through media tells you who you are and tells you what's going on. Donald Trump, always used to quote fake news. So, a lot of it is basically removing your mind and body from the fake news and really figuring out things, really figuring out yourself, figuring out your life, becoming a free thinker, So you have to unthink and unbelieve what was, told to you to really, find yourself, your true self. It even says that in scripture, you have to really essentially lose yourself, right? To find yourself. Because you have to lose this socially engineered, behavior, habits, thinking patterns, perceptions, and be made anew. I start noticing a lot of, changes taking place. Just even, how I handle my finances, how I handle my time, and just, who I choose to converse with. Because, who you, converse with really determines your lot in life, just as well as, who you date. You date, certain type of people, and then, complain about the behavior, but really it's just a reflection. Like if you're dealing with, someone that's, always begging, always needs something, always scheming, always up to something, it's a reflection of you, essentially. And, a lot of people are in denial of that. And the reason why that you can tell that they're in denial is because they keep participating, with that, destruction. Once you really notice certain things, once, something alarms your emotions that isn't right, within that split micro decision, right? Or that split micro moment, you have to make a decision on either continuing to go forward with that, which really, there's no such thing as going forward with that. You're really going backwards, or, cut that off and move forward. And if you look at, certain animals, like a reptile, right? They shed their skin. It's kind of like with, the socially engineered, behavior. You have to shed that skin because, you're outgrowing that. And, what I've just noticed just within, my world as of right now, it's not that I'm cutting people off. I'm, ascending to a higher level within myself, within my life, and people are just falling off by the wayside, or people are making it mentioning things to me in regards to, I think that I'm better than them, or I'm, I've changed. Change is actually a good thing. And people say that, you remain the same person once you, accumulate certain things, you don't really change. You're the same person. You do change. You do change in how you want to lead your life. And, the people around you change because they become more aware of that change and they become sensitive towards it. Now, you become, someone that is a contributor of society, someone that's producing, someone that, can add, to an equation versus someone that just takes, That whole race thing, to me, is an optical delusion. Now, if you look at it, if it weren't so, like you look at, Magic Johnson, look at Kobe Bryant, look at Michael Jordan, look at Tiger Woods. Why are the race of people willing to invest, into them? Now, people will say, well, their intentions are, well, okay, their intentions are one thing, right? But they're opening up a door, and you just got to maneuver through that, As a black man, you really have to get past yourself first. You have to get past your own, your self-defeated memory first. Then your naivete. Then you got to maneuver around, other people that, have the same skin color as you, but haven't done that yet and don't really care to do that yet, and are not really willing to put the work in. It's kind of like the movie Catch Me While You Can, the scene where Charlie Sheen Sr. was talking to Leonardo DiCaprio about the two mice in the bucket of cream. How they were fighting to get out the bucket. The first one gave up, and decided to just drown. The second one kept fighting and got out of the bucket of cream. That's essentially what, getting out of enslavement, or getting out of the matrix, or getting out of the delusion that there is, racism running things. Because you got to look at, like, as racism is a billion-dollar industry. It's an attitude. It's a state of mind. Racism, changes policies. It changes the stock market. What, the atypical, black man or black woman deal with is classism, or prejudices based on, stereotypical behavior that is socially engineered. That means you're not smart enough to think outside of that. And, people have the right to punish you for it. You only suffer when you're slothful and when you're too lazy to think outside of that, and lack the courage to come from that. It even says that in scripture. It says, to separate yourself, to separate yourself from the behavior, and conduct yourself this way. In order to basically be successful, you have to think, feel, behave this way in order for me to bless you. Simplified. Once I really understood what the intent of the author is saying in the book, then I really got it. It's the purpose of how you read a book. You want to read the intent of the author. You want to get into the table of contents. You want to get an idea of what they're trying to convey. The better that you can read a book, the better you can read people. Readers are leaders. I've read, well over 500 books, but I've read every person that, has came across my path really well. So what you really need to do is to actually spend that good quality time with yourself and think about your own thoughts and think about your own behavior, and then think about time and see exactly where you would like to be and see exactly what you would like to do with your time. And then once you discover that, you just keep pressing forward. You work hard to work smart.